bullshit. No bullshit. No bullshit.
Oh my, let's just did breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
No bullshit.
All right. What's up, Mark? Karen? Red in the car. All right. December 4, 2020. No bullshit news hour. What do you say, Red? Share. Share.
Like and share.
Like and share. This week, I just got a text from a woman loves the show. Everybody out there, I see at the gas stations. It's amazing to me. I love you too. This is the only place where you're getting some news. Not commenting on the news, but what's in the news. The news as we see it. This week, what is the news? The economy, the election, and COVID. There is nothing else. And you want to know how deadly COVID is in Michigan, Mark? You want to know how deadly it is?
How deadly?
Yesterday, 2/3 of the deaths, more than 100 people died of COVID who were already dead.
Oh, reclassifications?
Reclassification. So how bad was it in the spring? What did they withhold? What kind of decisions are being made about our lives? Why is the data a pile of shit? Why do they treat us like children? It's all of our lives. This segment here, I'm very happy. We have my favorite thistle ass, Mark Blyth. Mark is the William R. Rhodes Professor of International Economics at Brown University. He's the co-author of a new book, Angrynomics. Does that sound familiar to you out there? Are you angry? I am.
Everyone is.
Everybody's angry.
Yeah.
Right.
Mad as hell.
And scared. See that? Look at that. It's 100%. The book's right on time. You can also see Mark hear him on several podcasts, and he's viewed by millions on YouTube. He gives lectures on YouTube.
Wow.
They're awesome. Here's a guy that understands the macro look at the world at a micro level. He's regular. Happy to have him on, but first let me just tell you about our friends at Hall Financial. Rates are still at all-time lows. If your current mortgage is about 3.5, you're screwing yourself. Get busy, right? Loosen up some cash. You could be saving money. Most of 70% of all loans don't require an appraisal, okay? So believe it or not, closing times have sped up. Right now, the majority of loans at Hall Financial are closing in 10 business days. Just go to their website and click on Hall Financial link to get started, davidhallmortgage.com. It's davidhallmortgage.com or call 248-308-5000. I'm tired of telling you, tack that to your refrigerator.
Do it.
davidhallmortgage.com, 248-308-5000. That's who does our financial business down here.
Very simple.
Yes, very. Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, more personal attention. MMLS 1467435. Boom. Professor Blyth, how are you, sir?
I'm good, but the rule, as you know, is you call me Mark or Thistleass.
Thistlears.
I'm fine with either.
Can you explain to the listenership, because we like to educate, what is a thistleass?
The national flower of my home country of Scotland is, of course, the thistle, and we are a huge pain in the ass. Hence, Thistleass.
All right, hey, Thistlears, listen here. I wanted to get you out. First of all, you talk economics in regular people language. You're a fun guy and an interesting guy and a human being from the working class. I wanted to have you on desperately before Christmas because our bank accounts are dried up. There's no help on the horizon from Washington as we're speaking this morning. We need more stimulus. And I wanted you to talk about what the short term, the midterm, and the long term looks like. But after I called you, I realized you have a new book out that you didn't tell me. It's called Angrynomics. I just began it. Can you explain, please, to the vast audience, very important audience, the No Bullshit News Hour audience, what Angrynomics is?
Angrynomics is what happens when you live in a world where the economy doesn't work for the majority of people who make up that economy. When basically it all goes to the top when you know that you're working harder, you're working longer hours, you got less benefits, less protection. Every time you sign a new contract, it's worse. Somebody's making a fortune. You don't know who it is, but it isn't anyone you know. How about that?
Wow. That's
Right.
a good synopsis.
So, it does work for some.
Oh, yeah, of course it works for some. Think about this. Back in the day, 30 years ago, corporations paid about 10% of the total tax take in the United States. You know how much they pay now?
No.
Three.
3%?
Yeah. So basically 7% of the total tax take has disappeared. Now, where do you think that's going to go? Either you and I are going to pay a shit ton more taxes than we do. We've got our friend in the car there with cigarettes. How much did they cost 30 years ago?
A buck?
This tax.
Buck, yep.
Yeah, you got it.
$1.25.
Right, exactly. Not anymore. Nearly $10 for a pack, right? So
Yep.
all that tax deficit is going to be shoved onto somebody else's shoulders, or you're on a big government deficit, which is what we've been doing. Whenever the Republicans are in power, the deficit's the most terrifying thing in the world. It causes cancer. It's going to destroy the universe. It's the most powerful force of nature. When they get in, they spend like drunken sailors and don't give a shit. So now that they're out of power, they're going to come back in and say, oh my God, look at that debt. Look at that deficit. It's terrible. We're all going to die. We have to cut. And what that means is people who have got assets, who have made out well over the past 20 years, the ones with stocks, shares, bonds, all the rest of it, the ones that are protected by the Fed every time there's a crisis, they're going to be fine. They never feel the cuts. You know, when they say we all need to tighten our belts, we ain't all wearing the same trousers. And the people who've got the least going on in the trouser departments are the ones that are about to get reached into their trousers once again, because that's who bears all the cuts.
So how does this play out with we the average people? Like, what's it doing? How does this create tribalism in our politics?
Because there's two things going on we talk about in the book. We talk about anger as kind of a legitimate grievance. You have been left behind. Yeah, you have. Your company decided to leave. They didn't go to China immediately. First of all, they went to Texas, right to work state, to get away from the unions. Then they went from Texas to Mexico. And then they went from Mexico to China. All the time their costs are going down, down, down. The volume's going up and up. Their profits are going up and up. And they don't need you anymore. You have literally been left behind, right? So that's a legitimate grievance. What have the Democrats done about that over the 20 years that they were in charge of it? Nothing. They made it worse, right? So there's one side of it. The other side is you get a character like Trump. Trump walks into Wisconsin in 2016, hears that, recognizes it, says to everyone, yeah, you have been screwed, haven't you? It's China that's screwing you. Oh, my God, somebody recognizes this at last. May or may not be China, may be bigger than it, but recognize that. Then turns around, goes down to Arizona and says, look at all those rapists. Look at all those murderers. And he draws a whole different line in tribal politics in the sand, where it's us versus them and there's no compromise. You put those two things together, you can build a very powerful coalition of anger. And that's what's been happening right across the world.
And that kind of leads to, I would assume, nationalism, because you have this globalization. So is globalization reducing prices, making a world economy? That leads to a lot of anger. There's a lot of anti-globalization out there. Is that a bad thing or is that a good thing?
It's put it this way, it's a real thing, whether you evaluate it or not, right? If you walk into Walmart, stuff is cheap as shit, right? I mean, It's unbelievably cheap. Well, it needs to be because your wages have collapsed.
Yeah, I told my brother once, he goes, man, it's cheap at Walmart. And I go, yeah, and you better stuff your attic full of stuff because you're not going to be able to afford it in 20 years. And
so I got one little chart that I can use to summarize everything I got a couple of weeks ago. You look at blue-collar wages in the United States, they are, if you adjust for inflation, they are less than where they were in 1973.
Say it again, brother. Say it. Say that.
Blue-collar wages less than they were in 1973 in real terms of the purchasing power they've got.
And is this so hard? So we talked about the right. Let's look at the left. They're going berserk, and I don't like what's going on there either. How do you explain Antifa, Black Lives Matter, tearing up, looting, all of this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think it's like hugely exaggerated, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never met an Antifa, and I live at Brown. Holy shit, if they're not here, I don't know where the hell they are.
Oh, I've met many, so I don't mean it. I guess
I think this is like a moral panic. This is like when everybody's afraid that everybody's going to kidnap everybody else's kids, and they're all going to be done.
No, I guess let me rephrase it so we don't go off on it. There's a hard left blue collar element to this as well, who've been left behind and they're angry at the oligarchs. And the way, if you look at like Black Lives Matter, yeah, there's a racial component to it, but is there not an economic component to black life in America?
Oh, yeah, of course there is. I mean, Christ, my favorite statistic on this one, right? You can go online and get this. Go to the Boston Federal Reserve's website. There's a study from 2017 where they compare the net family wealth of white families in Boston and black families in Boston. Now, think about this one, right? The net white family in Boston average wealth is $267,000 or $250,000 in 2017. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of plus, right? All of your debts are gone, and you've got that extra. Why?
What's left over? That means what you're saying. What you're saying is what you own and what you owe. Subtract that, and that's your wealth.
You net it out, right?
Okay.
And what you've got there is you got a city where you got Tom Brady used to live with Gisele Bundchen. So guess what? When you put people like that in the pot and you call them white people, the number gets huge. You take out the top 10%, that number would collapse. Here's the one for black families. I'm going to give you this one. Ask you to guess this, Charlie. So white families' average net worth is $267,000. What do you think it is for Boston's black families in 2017?
Boss, okay, let me think, because I take pride in this. Nationally, I can't remember. I'd say, well, that number was like 1,800 for black them nationally. Boston's a little bit richer. $10,000.
$8.
What?
What?
$8.
The average,
$8.
the average family.
$8.
$8. $8.
Now, you think about the fact that back in the 30s when they were building the New Deal and Social Security, all African Americans are excluded. You think about the fact that you have the big boom in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They weren't allowed into half the unions. They weren't involved in the big march, the northern industrialization thing. They didn't get the wages and benefits. You then get into the 70s and the collapse of the cities, right? You've got families that have been unable to build wealth for several generations. Then put the whole racial incarceration of the war on drugs on top of that. And you've got people who just simply cannot build wealth. All they have is debt. And if they're lucky enough to own their own house, they own a house that's in a red-lined area, so they can't get a goddamn loan on it to start a business. So, yeah, there's a huge economic component on this one.
But two things. This is how this country was structured, and it was structured to maintain itself. For as much as we hear about, the research, the outcomes, nothing ever changes. So we know these things, but what difference does it make?
I think there's a difference between knowing and having people weaponized by it. And that's what's happened in the summer is basically people said, enough, we're not going to ignore this any longer. This is not going away. This is basically a community that's mobilized in a way that hasn't been mobilized from the 60s. And let's remember what was achieved in the 60s, right? We actually got a substantive dent into Jim Crow politics in the South. We actually did manage to change a few things. And I think that, we're on the same path this time round because this is not going away. It's an abomination. A country like this that I moved to 30 years ago that prides itself on basically opportunity, systematically denies it to 12% of its population. That's just bullshit. It is just bullshit. And we cannot look at ourselves in the mirror in the 21st century, talk crap about China and everybody else in the world when we do that to ourselves.
Do you have a second part, Karen?
No, I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I try to do because, like my black brothers and sisters, my white brothers and sisters, my brown brothers and sisters, my red brothers and sisters, we're all kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, it's class.
And we're being either dividing ourselves or somebody's manipulating. I'll look at it like why do we also not like the media? Tell me what you think of this. When white people go to the state capital of Michigan, Lansing, to protest the fact that they're hungry, they're locked down, it doesn't seem fair, the checks haven't arrived, all the media gives me is the 6 knuckleheads with the long arms.
Word.
Okay.
You got it.
Two, when black people are trying to tell you we're feeling the same thing, all we get is guys throwing garbage cans through windows and taking sneakers when the vast majority of us don't have it.
Absolutely. There's a complete, what would we call this? A selective view? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because they know who their base is. They're no different from politicians. They're pandering to their base and they're playing to the base. Ask yourself the next question. Who is the media base in the African-American community? There isn't one. There is no network, not even BET, that depends upon them. So they're simply there to be abused. They're simply cannon fodder for the reports. Nobody's going to turn around on the Hamptons and do some serious bullshit about them because that's where the money is.
I tell you, there's no doubt. That's
true.
I guess I'd like to tell the audience, you can either be part of that elite or you can be part of the people. And I was in there. I saw them, and I fight with them. I like them. They're fun to drink with. But in the end, I'm with you, and it costs a lot, Mark, because there's good money to be made at a puppy dog at the big boy's table. You think you're sitting there with him, but you're just waiting for a scrap. And it's obvious. It's obvious what's going on in the world. This isn't just America, is it?
No, it's exactly the whole world. You got people complaining about the same stuff in Chile. You got people talking about it in Israel. The only time Israel's ever mentioned here is because of the Arab conflict, is because of Trump's relationship with Netanyahu. There's been a huge middle class and working class revolt going on there for almost a decade now about the cost of living, the lack of affordable housing, and the breakdown of the welfare state. Sound familiar? Same shit, different smell everywhere.
So who should we be angry at, and where do people turn their anger?
The first thing to do is recognize when you're being manipulated. This is not about immigration. This is not about divide and conquer politics and of ourselves. Wrapping yourself in the flag ain't going to pay for the next meal. That's just a diversion to keep things as they are.
But isn't that human nature to kind of find people like yourself and bear down and fight?
Yeah, but look at the way that we've done it. We weaponize this with digital media. We have Facebook. We have a world in which you get a dopamine burst every time somebody agrees with you, and you feel pain when somebody disagrees with you.
But
we've rolled that out across our communities, and we wonder why we can't talk to each other anymore. And why I'm not on Facebook.
And we also can't give credit when ideas work or are good on the like. If you want to, I've crossed the border. I've been with the Sinaloa cartel. I covered the border for the New York Times and for Fox. The wall doesn't work, but what did work, what Trump did effectively, was create a partnership with the Mexican government to get things in order on your side. That's smart. I'm going to give him the credit.
You'll know this from covering the border. My favorite one for that is it's the same families that operate the border posts on either side of the border towns. Right? I mean, it's completely porous. It's like me and my cousin Dave. We're the border. I mean, come on, seriously?
Dave. You mean David?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking thistle ass, man. Okay. So, Mark, I want to ask you this. I know you've got a little COVID situation in your household, and I could talk to you for hours. There's no money. There's no stimulus. Christmas is coming. What's it look like in the short term? What's your prediction of life in America? And in the long term, are we going to start seeing property defaults and derivatives based off of real estate? Are we going to see a cascade coming?
No, because the Democrats are back in charge, and they basically will play along with the Fed, and the Fed has gone, whoo! And that means that they can keep propping up markets for the 20% who have 80% of everything. So that's going to continue. That's fine. Here's two things that I read last week, and they're simultaneously true, right? Guy in London who does economic research sends me this data and this graph, and it basically says there's going to be a huge boom in America because the savings rate is higher than it's been for 30 years because people have saved all this money from COVID. So I got the data and broke it down and went, that's only true above the 50th percentile. You actually need to have money in order to save from it. If you don't have money, which is half of America, then you're in the shitter and this is meaningless. And he wrote back to me and said, yeah, but if they've no money, they don't spend anyway, so they don't matter.
Wow.
The people who don't matter are the ones who were going to feel it because they're the ones who always feel it. Now, there is a possibility you will get some kind of, and I hate calling it stimulus, it's insurance money. This is what it is. It's basically insurance to stop it getting worse. There'll be some kind of insurance payment out of Congress. It will happen before Christmas. I'm pretty sure of that because it's in everybody's interest to do it. And now that the Republicans basically are less afraid of Mango Unchained, then they're able to back away from it. So, you might get something there. But essentially, it's the people who don't matter that bear the brunt. It always is. They don't have any savings to fall back on. They haven't accumulated any.
But what do you tell the people that don't think they matter or the people on the lower end of the socioeconomic continuum? When they hear this, what do you tell them? Like, what do you say to them to not make them feel less important or less relevant in this equation?
Karen, he's a professor at an Ivy League university. He doesn't talk to regular people.
Oh, that's bullshit. How dare you? You don't.
I'm right here.
He's still Scottish.
Know who my fishing buddies are for a start. So anyway, What do you do? What you do is you call out the fact that they are being called that. You point out to them that, there's a whole bunch of people who think that you don't matter. They don't treat you as your fellow citizen. They don't regard you as their equal. They think that you're some kind of social problem to be managed, to be nudged into better behavior. They don't see you as an equal. And the first thing they should do is demand that equality. Demand the rights as a citizen and not shrink away from it and stop voting for the same parties that let you down time and time and time again. Get in there and change them and stop falling for the bullshit.
Nicely said. Let's recap. One half of this country, 1 out of 2 people, person right next to you basically, doesn't have anything. Nothing in the bank. $8. Yep. I got $8 fucking dollars.
That's me.
That is red. That's red. I got $8. Okay. The long-term help's not coming. For the ultra-wealthy who own the big financial instruments, etc., the Federal Reserve, the national bank, is going to buy that debt up to make sure that the very wealthy don't collapse.
Or at least they will promise they will do it, which does the same thing. You don't sell your insurance policy unless you think the company's bust. So long as they're backing up the company, you don't need to sell it. It's all a big Jedi trick.
Well, this doesn't bode well. So, we're going to move on, let you go, let you do the summation, but stay tuned, folks, because the next point I want to make is how are we focused in our COVID response in terms of the best way to keep you working and employed and eating and protecting the vulnerable? Are we actually doing it? We got to look not only at data, but at what's going on the ground. And that's where the governor loses me. Washington lost me a long time ago. I don't see it. So, Mark, Merry Christmas. Give us the one thought we should think about as we go through this holiday season.
Things will get better because at the end of the day, there's going to be an end to COVID. And things will get better. Now, we can make them a lot better. We can demand that things get a lot better, or we can just accept things the way that they've been before. I don't think that's tenable. And I think that everything that's gone on, from the revelation that you can spend 20% of the country's wealth to prop up COVID, and turns out there's no inflation, nobody's freaking out, the country isn't going bankrupt. Think about what you could do if that was investment in jobs and retraining and infrastructure and all the stuff people keep talking about but never delivering. How about we hold their feet to the fire and actually make them do that instead of just backing up to everything's fine, we're good, and we'll move on. Yeah. Let's make tomorrow better.
Amen.
Amen, man. Listen, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you. And hey, did you like the Coney kit?
I did. I like the Coney kit, but it's the wrong time of year, so hold mine in reserve to the summer.
Spoken like a fucking economist. I'm not sending you one. I just was asking. We can't afford to give you a free one.
I'm Scottish, asshole. I'll take everything for free.
They shut the goddamn Coney down, bro. It's takeout only. I mean, I was hoping you'd buy one. That's just a trick to get you to buy one.
Never ask a Scotsman to buy what's potentially free because his buddy's buying it.
Beautiful.
All right, thanks, man.
Mark, a lot of our Facebook viewers are saying they could listen to you forever. They love not only the content, but your accent as well. So I just wanted to let you know that they do appreciate it. And again, people are asking the name of the book. It's Angrynomics.
Angrynomics, one word. And if you want tons of me, there's tons of me all over YouTube. Not all over Facebook, but all over YouTube.
Yeah.
So. And you're on Twitter as well.
And I'm on Twitter at MK Blyth.
And Luke Nowacki, a good friend of mine, a sponsor of the program. He's a financial manager, wealth specialist. Loves you. He binges you. Mark is. It's economics for the people, but the guys, you're going to win a Nobel Prize. I'm telling you.
No, you don't get a Nobel Prize for working for the people. You know that.
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
As somebody broke his hell, I feel very encouraged after listening to you today.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Talk soon.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
You
Thanks.
too. Bye-bye now.
Okay, so look, up next here is Detroit Red. He wrote a little holiday poem and wants to tell you how guys like him who's sitting in a COVID Uber car owning $8 in the world. Stop doing that.
He's there. He's getting his papers.
Relax. Listen to Red. Look at him. Jeez, he's rolling a joint. Is what he's doing.
Charlie, he's getting ready.
I know. No, what he was doing, he was rolling his joint out of fucking newspaper.
Yeah, that's his poem.
That's how broke it is. That's some third world shit right there. Newspaper joint.
That ink will help make it a little more potent.
No, I was actually smoking it out the side of a Coke can. Portable bong.
That's 10 cents, man.
But hey, look.
I'll turn it in after I'm done.
Hey, Red, shut up. Let me just get this done. Our good friends at American Coney Island. Roll that tape here. It closed. It's closed down pretty much. Takeout. Go through, support them. I don't even know what the hours are. Everybody in the business dying on the vine. But look here. You don't want to go out. COVID's raging. Look what we're doing there. For you, those of you who listen, we got videotape rolling. These are the Coney kids. This is Coney Central. Look at that. A dozen dogs. Proprietary chili. Packing. Look at this LeDuff right there packing it up. Right? Dry ice. Plenty of dry ice.
With a mask on.
With a mask on. My hands are all, what do you call that? What's that stuff you put on them? Dogs. Proprietary chili. We got that right there.
He's doing your read for you, that guy.
What's in this chili? What's in the chili? Let's find out what's in the chili.
Is that you, Charlie?
Yes.
Paprika, garlic, onion, soybean oil, extract of paprika.
All right,
Now
thank
we know
you.
the Greek spices.
Listen, get them to your house. They're delicious. They get there. They're fresh. Look at the nice, yummy buns. Here come the Vidalia onions. AmericanConeyIsland.com. See that right there? Packed with love and care. I'm going to make sure it gets to you. Please support a Detroit institution. Not everybody. What percentage of the restaurants are going to go down?
It's a tough question.
A lot.
It's a lot. And that's where we, the regular people, work.
Ooh.
And I want you to see this here, right? I like doing regular work. I try to do it all. A little brain work, a little, not too proud. I'm going to pay for myself, get my family health care. Great company. There it goes.
That's a ton of kits, man. That's great.
Yeah, dude.
That's a lot.
Support them. Detroit Red. Hey, Red, what's up, baby?
What up, though?
You must be hurting too, man, because you're an Uber driver.
Oh yeah, hurting like hell. Shit, I'm wasting gas to take people around the corner to the store. They ain't got nowhere else to go.
Hey,
it's not banging out here right now.
What's your Uber rating?
5 star.
All right, good.
I'm the best.
All
I'm
right.
the best.
All right.
Yeah, I only make you tuck and roll if you talk shit.
Hey, Red, if you want to give your phone number out and people can just call you as a cab, you can get right around Uber if you want to do that.
Even better.
Yeah, no, I'll do it through the app. People tend to be a little off these days, so
Exactly.
let's do it through a credit card. We can do some background checks and shit. I'm tight.
So with nothing to do, you're sitting in your car scribbling poetry. Because what do you got, Red? Go on.
What it was is, I was sitting and watching the Christmas special the other night, and I got a little nostalgic. Stuff ain't looking normal like it used to. So I was going to write a letter to Santa Claus. But along that, writing it, I kind of didn't feel that. So I decided to write a poem, a Christmas poem, and to our governor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. Nothing like a little politics
Okay.
for the holidays.
Yeah, this is The Gretch That Stole Christmas by comedian Detroit Red. 2 weeks before Christmas, Michiganders wait to see what a big Gretch Christmas will turn out to be. Seeing as Thanksgiving has already been taken away, with gatherings, bar closings, and public lockdowns in play. I'm not blaming Corona on Gretch, you see. It's all these closings from lockdown restrictions that's hurting families in their pocket that's got me. Because I think Big Gretch forgot that no one lives for free. And now, there might not even be a damn Christmas tree. I may sound mad while reading this. You got it all wrong, because I'm goddamn pissed. Because of Corona, Big Gretch and her crew, no job, no money. This Christmas, I don't know what to do. Well, I've sat here and griped long enough. I know it's been a year. For many, everybody, it's been rough. Hoping and praying they'll have enough. Big Gretch, you're not totally to blame, but your Corona management is fucking lame. I'm finished. I'm done. No way to make Christmas dough. Only left with one thing to do. Hit the corner and become a Christmas hoe. Because of Gretch, I am fucking po. How the Gretch Stole Christmas by comedian Detroit Red.
Deuces.
Parts I
That
didn't
was
want
classic. That is a classic.
to. Parts I didn't want to laugh at, but
This is like
it was sad and funny.
this is NPR.
Yeah, we had an economist on.
Yeah, we had an economist on and the fucking
Oh boy, it's
David
really
Sedaris over here.
the ghost of David.
This is the 2-bit NPR. But a hell of a lot more fun. Red, I want to wish you
Yes.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hey, look, y'all, it's tight out here, so you're going to have to get your hustle caps on.
Got any suggestions?
How? Yeah, what do you suggest?
Well, I comprise the small list of hustles because everybody don't have schools, skills and everything.
Oh, he's got an extra bit here.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, well,
Take
all
a little
right.
bit.
Another
NPR
piece of
wouldn't, but we
paper
will.
Yeah, go ahead.
List the side hustles. Got the good old faithful. You can sell some ass. But social media is not hard to do. Low management, and you can be your own pimp. Work your own hours. Be your own boss. I mean, that's one thing to do.
Gonna write that down.
Then you always got sell some drugs. Now, kids, I don't condone drug use, but hell, somebody got to sell them for somebody to buy them. So why not go ahead and make your Christmas tree and holiday look nice? Then you could also sell all the crappy gifts you've ever gotten from people in your family online. They normally don't be on eBay, so you can sell them there, or Craigslist. It's not as famous as Facebook Garage.
So it's like regifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's a little more
you're
making a buck.
reselling.
Yeah,
So it's
making
more
a buck.
like gift boosting.
Right.
Okay? Then here go one that'll help out the city of Detroit, as well as put a little extra cash in your pocket. Okay? You can go cut down all the wood in the abandoned lots and fields in Detroit and bundle it up and sell it for firewood.
That's outside the box. I like that one.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Just make sure it doesn't
Hey.
have creosote.
It's a little more
But
work.
make sure it's not on Hans Farms. They look like abandoned lots, but they're supposed to be tree.
Well,
It's a little East Side
actually,
reference.
I was going to suggest go there first. It makes it a lot easier to get to trees a lot quicker. Plus, on top of that, they ain't even trees. They just tall-ass bushes. They've been growing for 10 years, and they're tall-ass bushes. That's the sorriest fucking forest of trees I've ever seen.
This is true.
They don't seem to have ever grown. They stick them in the ground.
It's a land grab, Charlie. You know that. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Rick.
And last but not least, a old-time hustle. You can risk giving all your neighbors and friends corona by selling pork chop dinners out your back door. And that was my list of side hustles to make it through the Christmas corona season.
And thank you for that, comedian. Detroit Red.
Thanks, Red. Oh, man.
I try my best.
Red was brought to you by Luke Nowacki, who once reminded you that overreaction is not a strategy. Luke was supposed to be calling in. I always had trouble with Luke.
The markets are open. He's a busy guy.
I know, that's the thing. But he started wanking out like on the election returns.
Oh, really?
He bombarded me with all kinds of stuff from Pennsylvania.
But that's what I like about him. He'll ask questions.
You know what?
I'm being dead serious.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the thing. That this next piece, he called me up, and we're both a little depressed. Mm-hmm. We're men of action. We like being out there. We like people. So there was a chance for he and we ran COVID data. I know, folks. I was done with the nursing homes. That was in wave 1. I got some outrageous news for you. But I want you to remember, never guess. Never guess, never gamble. Get a strategy. Red, take that $8 of yours and invest it wisely. Turn that thing into $8.25, bro. You also
Let
forget.
me guess.
Yeah.
With Luke Milwaukee?
Yeah. That's right. What other hustle is, whenever you get in an Uber, always check the seat cushions. Could be some change in it.
Unless you're in Red's Uber, let him check him after the route.
Use both sides of the Charmin and maybe shake the breadcrumbs into the meatloaf for a filler. You might want to try that. That's what we used to do.
Both sides of the Charmin, huh?
Luke Nowacki, my good friend at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748 for rational financial advice. You heard it from Mark Blyth. Now take that knowledge and find somebody that gives a shit about you. Okay? My mom works with Luke. So get advice, get a strategy. Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. Hit it.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Inc. Member FINRA.
Maurice Davis is working on the new one.
Inc. December owned and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates Inc.
Yes, sir.
So, what kind of questions did he have for you about the election?
I didn't bother.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to be honest, Luke. Stop sending me stuff from Pennsylvania. I'm in Michigan. I only talk about what I know.
I gotcha.
I don't talk about Dominion. I don't talk about software. I talk about Cobo Hall and what went down. We'll get to that in a minute because we all know what's her name. Mellissa Carone.
Yeah, this week's star.
The whistle drinker, is that what they're calling her on?
They are calling her that, yeah.
The star of the Rudy Giuliani testimony in front of the state legislature.
Yep.
She and I went back and forth a couple weeks ago.
I cannot wait to hear it.
On Twitter. But
you haven't told me. I didn't want to hear it until you did the show.
But before that, let me just quickly tell you what's going on with COVID and the reaction and the restaurants. And I don't understand the data, folks. I'm a middle of the road guy. Some stuff you like that I say if it fits what you want. And sometimes you hate it because it doesn't fit what you want. But I'm always going to tell you the facts. Here are the facts. You know how you get drowned, Karen, with the COVID data every day and it's meaningless? It's absolutely meaningless. Look. The overwhelming majority of deaths right now are coming from nursing homes and long-term care facilities, period. Full stop. Luke and I ran the data. I'm just going to do this for you, folks. I'm going to. It might be a little bit boring, but I want you to know where it comes from. So we went like this. We went from last Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Last Monday and Sunday. There were 65 total deaths. On Tuesday, there were 145 deaths, but 51 of those deaths were from vital record searches, meaning they happened sometime in the past, right? From COVID. Remember, we were all bitching, hey, you're undercounting the deaths in the nursing home?
Yeah.
And the governor's taking credit that we have less deaths than other states. It's because we weren't counting. So that means there was 94 new deaths, not 145. Then there were 73, all new deaths. Then there were 172 deaths, and 108 of those were old deaths. So people that are dead are dying of COVID, and they're counting it and not really doing the math. And then finally, on Saturday, we had 103 deaths, and 70 were from those vital records. Long story short, there were 329 new deaths. And at least 204 of those came from the nursing homes and the homes for the aged and the adult foster cares. That's over 60%. It's probably near 70. And nationally, the Kaiser Foundation estimates it to be 45% for long-term care facilities. Why are we so bad? Why are we shutting down business? Here's the thing about COVID. In the end, what are we worried about? Death. Think about it. It's not cases. It's death. We're scared of death. Where are they dying? In these homes. Why have we done nothing? Nothing.
Yeah.
In terms of the record review, what is not happening at the first determination of death? And what is it when they go back? I'm trying to figure this out. Like, what makes them go back? Is there just a closer evaluation? I'm lost between that. There's a disconnect there for me.
Well, there shouldn't be. Don't ask me. You mean why? What you're saying is why are they actually going back and even looking? Because the government, because the federal government's requiring it. Not that we did it. You'll remember from this program, we weren't even counting the deaths in the nursing homes. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We weren't even keeping track of what was going on in adult foster care. Pennsylvania
Sound like
was.
somebody making up numbers to me.
Well, yes. And we now got to make together, all of us, public policy. What's best for all of us, like Blyth was saying. There's the shit for the elites, and then there's shit for us. Notice how the government's not laid off. Notice that?
Well, that's the amazing thing is I don't think people really cared about these facilities before COVID, and so it's a little hard to make them care now.
And we'll get to that.
What happened to the salary cuts that were supposed to have taken place at the city and the state level? Were they ever implemented? Did they expire?
Drop in the bucket.
Before we did, you should have talked to me before the show so we'd have an answer for that. But
just stuff for thought, Charlie.
But if we do that, then we're going to lose track of this. Let me do this real quick. Okay, let's do before the restaurant shut down, right? Mm-hmm. The week leading up to November 25th. It's now December 4th. Okay, the outbreaks. Okay, the ongoing outbreaks, the clusters of people. That's 2 or more that are unrelated. Yeah. So me and you, right?
This would be an outbreak.
We both get it.
You got me and someone else.
That's an outbreak.
Yeah.
2 people, that's an outbreak. But they don't tell you how many people.
I was always surprised by that, yeah.
Per outbreak. They give you incidents of outbreak. So let's say this.
Particularly in the schools, both high school and college.
That they do.
Okay.
They do it now for the nursing homes and all the long-term care facilities and the schools and colleges.
What do you got?
But you got to dig it up.
Okay.
So there was basically 1,000 cases statewide.
Outbreaks.
Yes.
Okay.
Outbreaks. 40 let's just round. 40 were in the bars and 40 were in the universities and colleges. So the same, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So how many in the bars? 2? 4? 1,000?
Do we know?
They don't tell us.
It's not going to be 1,000, but yeah.
It's not going to be 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. There was at Michigan State, there was 1 cluster, just 1. Guess how many people were in that cluster?
Oh, boy, I have no idea.
2,086.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. 1/3 of all the clusters are in the old folks' homes.
Yeah.
But how many people is that? That's about 1,300 people. So 1/3 of the outbreaks, like 329 out of 1,000. Mm-hmm. That's 1/3. But only 4% of actual people caught it there. And that's where they're all dying. You follow me, Karen and Red?
Yeah, we're following you. I got you.
So why are you treating us like children? Why do I got to dig through this? Of those cases, vital record searches, what was their age? What was their race? What was the date of their death? And where did they live? Why can't we have? I asked for that. I can't get that. This is some state secret.
Do they give numbers for private gathering outbreaks, like just parties at a house?
They do that.
They do that?
They do that. They do it for jails and prisons.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah.
Okay, so you have an outbreak. It's the St. Louis Correctional Facility. How many people is that?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I got last night, folks. This is an ER nurse I know. Okay? I'm not going to tell you where, because for obvious reasons. People are bitter and they're looking to hurt each other. Anybody telling truth. Hear me. All of us. Left, right, middle, black, white, male, female. Together. Here, this is truth. This is a friend of mine. This is truth. This past weekend at the hospital, we noticed an interesting pattern. Residents from a certain nursing home were rolling in from EMS, one after the other, all afternoon and into the evening on Saturday. They were all COVID positive, but asymptomatic, so no symptoms. Me and my coworkers were asking if they had any breathing difficulty, chest pain, stomach pain, etc., to which they all said no, and their vitals were normal. The attending ER doctor assessed them, and when they weren't in any imminent danger, they were discharged back to the nursing home to quarantine there. Well, the registered nurse called the nursing home to let them know the patient was coming back, and they refused to take them back due to COVID. The RN told them they had to, and the nursing home staff said they were well within their rights. It was then figured out they were testing all residents, and whoever was positive, they intended to just dump them at the hospital and wash their hands clean of them permanently. Jeez. When I called and spoke to Adult Protective Services, they told me they would start a report, but the nursing homes were allowed to reject taking a patient back if they had COVID. So that's a fun little quirk in the law. I guess the powers that be at the hospital are handling it, and it has moved up the chain from Adult Protective Services to the feds because Adult Protective Services has no authorities in the nursing homes.
They don't? None? They don't have authority at all?
Well, ain't that what Adult Protective Services is really for?
Okay,
to protect the adults?
Exactly. It seems so simple, Red. Continue.
Well, let's do this, though. Let's do this. We remember what we said. There's two things going on here. My little note here. Remember, we didn't want positive people returning to the nursing homes, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So step one in this investigation, did this nursing home sign up, right, recently to have a COVID dedicated ward in which they would be rewarded monetarily for having it? Do they? I tried to look it up this morning. I can't tell. I asked for a list, you'll remember, a couple weeks ago. I didn't get one. So number two, if they did not sign up, they can't handle it, which would be legitimate, I say. Then what was the protocol to deal with these population?
Yeah.
Like the nursing home finds, why don't we just go dump them on the hospital? To which we're all being thrown into a panic that the hospitals are overflowing.
People don't want to go to a hospital right now.
And the most vulnerable population, the ones that are dying, are being thrown into an emergency room where you're going. And was this the plan? Are we actually looking at the plan? Did not Lucido, the legislature, in a bipartisan manner, pass such a bill asking for dedicated facilities that the governor vetoed?
Yeah.
Now, we're spending billions. I know restaurateurs that would pay a 10% COVID tax on their income to be allowed to stay open to protect the vulnerable.
Yeah, have that money go straight there. Maybe I'm Pollyannish. I'm just surprised that a long-term care facility would make a decision not that is in the best interest of the patient.
Say it again?
You would think that they would make a decision that would be in the best interest of the patient. Like, in other words, if the hospital's done with them, you would bring them back to be under your care.
Huh. That's interesting.
But it's really never about the patient, is it?
Because
has it ever been?
No, unfortunately.
So,
I mean, I'm sure.
Where do the people go after that? I mean, they can't stay in the hospital for 14 days.
The hospital's looking for placement.
You want to go pick them up, Red? Take them home?
Hey, they asymptomatic, I guess.
Well, here, I looked up this nursing home. This nursing home's notorious. Okay? 30% of short stay residents who were rehospitalized after being in this home was 30%. The national average is 20%.
Rehospitalized?
Yeah.
They went back. Oh, boy. Okay.
Right. Okay. The percentage of these short-term residents, right, who've had an outpatient emergency visit while being there is 14%. The national average is 10%.
These are COVID-related ones or just all?
Of all.
Oh, okay.
Right? This was before COVID. This was...
Oh, pre-COVID. Okay, I'm sorry.
The percentage of these residents who got antipsychotic medicine for the first time in their lives was 9%, and the national average is 1.8%. Doping them up.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, I'm talking to my folks. I'm
gonna move into an old folks home then.
I hope this works out. I am going to be in those nursing homes next week.
What are you doing, darling?
I can't reveal it, so we can't be found out. But here's what I'm told. You all know we've had people on. Mm-hmm. Copious people. Since you can't go see your loved one, imagine a guy making $11 an hour in a for-profit nursing home, because that's what's happened. Cut the care, cut the margin, feed the stockholder. Mark Blyth told you. This is the facts.
Yeah.
We all know this now. Where was I going here?
Next week. People can't go in there.
Oh, here's what they told.
That you can't.
Think of the night shift. Guy making $11 an hour.
Yes.
Don't got his PPE. As the AARP is telling us, there's no PPE and not enough staff. The staff's just locking Grandpa in the room. He ain't going in there. And Grandpa's in his shitty diaper And I've got photographs. I've got, people telling me, directors, these places, the bed sores, the rotting flesh. What the fuck is going on? These are facts. And if you don't believe me, I'm going in. And my daughter gave me permission because she's frightened as hell.
Good.
Because somebody's got to. Because I'm with you. And COVID is real, man. Mm-hmm. Right, Red? Right,
all
Karen?
Day long.
Right? It's real, man. Those hospitals are getting full. We don't have a targeted response. I am shocked.
It sounds like we didn't have any kind of response before COVID.
Right. If the Adult Protective Service can't go where the most adults need protecting, and they got to wait on the feds, what's getting done? I mean, basically, they just thrown to the wayside, waiting for somebody to get around to them.
And collecting money and pushing people through like it's an assembly line.
Right. Remember, again, 62% of all the deaths, it's like the crime numbers we do. We're tracking murder and shootings, right? I don't care about B&E. That's not the measure. The measure of COVID are the deaths. Where are they? They're at least 62%. Not even all these facilities are reporting as they're required to. The nursing homes in Detroit, the Detroit Health Department gives you one number and the state gives you another number for the same facility. Let me tell you why it's important again. It's your economic well-being. It's the mental well-being of your child who's locked at home. We shit the bed. I am upset about it. If we have all the bureaucrats and the media outreach people for the Department of Licensing, we don't need you working that. Why don't you take on 10 adults and keep track of them? Something.
Yeah, I would think that would be severely underfunded as well. You think?
It's just bullshit. I'm not buying it.
No.
I'm not buying it. Oh, and the jails.
Oh, yeah.
Sheriff Benny Napoleon is on a ventilator. Wayne County Sheriff Benny, you remember how much in the first wave I was covering the county jail.
Yeah.
It's the sheriff now. And I wish you good luck, sir, and a Merry Christmas. I do. Godspeed. I told you. Now they're holding press conferences yesterday. Look at all we did.
I know.
Give me numbers.
Yeah. And then the Macomb County Jail has a pretty big outbreak as well.
Yes.
And that's just regarding the inmates, not the correction officers.
Well, you got to remember, Wayne County is, they've been impacted. They've lost, a deputy, Donna Fay. I mean, so they've been negatively impacted over time. It's a hot spot. I mean, I guess it's a culmination of wherever there's a large group of people, but between the jails and the nursing homes, there's something that, Charlie's been talking about since the outbreak. They both continue to be hot spots.
Fix the shit. Speaking of which,
hey,
we sold all of them out. Remember the Fix the Shit t-shirts right there. There's mine.
One. I still don't have a shirt.
You don't? Well, Karen, because you won't wear it. Maybe. So guess what guess what we did? Guess what we're doing? Mark, put it up on the monitor. Karen, since we sold out, we got new ones. What
does it say?
We got Fix the Shit.
Uh-huh.
We've got Fix It.
Okay.
So you might not want to be wearing shit out. And then we've got Fix the asterisk. Fix the
Yeah.
See?
I curse every now and then. I need a real one that says everything.
You want the bad one. He wants the bad one.
I want to go rogue out here and put the SHIT on my chest.
I want to see.
I believe it when I see
exactly.
it, Karen. I believe it when I see it.
The challenge has been proposed.
Here's the challenge. Go ahead and spell it, Karen. Just spell it.
SHIT.
And what's that say?
You know what it says, Charlie.
But yet she wants a shirt that says it. You can't even say the word.
That's why she wants the shirt, so she doesn't have to say it.
Then I can just say, hey, what is this? I just point to it.
Oh, wow.
But she feels it.
Yeah.
So you go to the DrewandMikeStore.com, and every nickel that goes over cost goes to help young people of our choice, like Jordan Ruffin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Any feedback on Jordan? How's he enjoying that Lincoln?
Dude, we went driving and we went on because he's getting ready for his driving test.
Yeah.
Went on the freeway for the first time.
No.
He did a pretty good job.
Right here? Did he go on the freeway?
I took him on the worst stretch of
was gonna
freeway in Michigan.
Yeah.
The 94.
That's what I'm about to say. East.
Yeah.
All the way on the east side. That's
Yeah,
all
man.
the potholes at.
To the
I
night.
got to say this, and I want Charlie to stay out of this conversation. I know people hear and talk about what Charlie does. Charlie does 200% more than what he shares. I called Jordan. He didn't answer. He called me back. He says, I'm out with Uncle Charlie. I said, who the hell is Uncle Charlie? He said, Charlie is doing the stuff, not just once, not just twice. When he's committed to Jordan, and it shows. So Charlie, my hat and my heart off to you for really being sincere in your support and undertaking Jordan. Seriously, that means a lot.
And equally to you, because it's got on speakerphone. I'm a little bit away because I don't want to listen to his calls, you know. I mean, and I'm like, oh, he's got some hot older chick on the phone. I'm like, dude, who is that? And it's Aunt Karen. It's Aunt Karen. Unbelievable.
He called you a cougar, Karen.
That's the shit.
We made a commitment to make sure that, sometimes, people always think they can give somebody $5 or $10 or whatever, and that it makes a difference. When you really want to make a difference in somebody's life, yeah, if you are able to share resources, you do that, but you also have to spend time. You've got to listen to them. You've got to be there for them. That's how you make a difference. And that's why everybody can do something to make a difference. You don't have to have money. You don't have to be able to, but you got to care enough to be there for that person. And Jordan is an amazing young man. I'm thankful that Charlie introduced me to him, and I'm there for him as much as I can possibly be.
Amen.
All right. There you go.
Let's just hope we don't have to take up a donation to get him any psychological help after hanging with Uncle Charlie.
That's another story.
Now, you can be part of the movement, have a cool T-shirt. It goes to help a kid. Let's all be one. We don't even have to agree on everything. Just agree on we're all a family. Maybe you don't talk to the family. Fix the shit. DrewandMikeStore.com. Now, I would like to move on to... Help me with the segue here, Mark.
Sure.
Go on. What are we doing now?
I believe we're going to talk because I'm still dying to hear about the conversation you had with the star of the week, Mellissa Carone, who was the star witness for Rudy Giuliani. I think most people have seen the clip. It's been everywhere on social media.
Explain
the
who
drunk
she is.
star witness. She had a half a pint before she went out
Wait,
there.
hold on, dude. You go like this. You're making a joke. You let that be known. This is the no bullshit news on.
Yes.
You don't know that.
Okay.
You say seem like or like you funny like, right? But that just for real. Like I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Fucking
I
kook.
don't know, but she definitely looked like she had a half a pint.
Okay, see, like we're being fair. I don't know that. I don't think so. Not by my reaction with her, my interaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically this all has to do with was mass fraud going on at TCF/Cobo Hall. I will call it Cobo Hall. Okay. So how do we want to do this? Wait, before we do that, let me just tell you, this segment's brought to you. No, you know what? Barry Ellen Tuck at ADR?
Yeah.
I'm going to save you as a sponsor for the Person of the Year.
Oh, beautiful.
So stay tuned to hear from ADR Consultants. Honest, ethical, smart. How do you want to do this, Mark? You want me to read the text first?
Let's play the clips. I think it'll add a little color, a little character to it.
So what we have here is she's giving testimony of what she saw that night at Cobo Hall. Her job was to watch the machines that tabulated the ballots. Mm-hmm. That's all she did. She's there to watch the machines. When she says poll book, she means this. A poll book is the book with your name in it. And when you check in to vote, your name gets checked, your ballot gets checked, and your envelope gets checked. Okay, that's what a poll book is. It's basically a list of voters. Okay, is that about all we need?
Perfect. Yep. Here's the first one.
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
That
poll book.
What this means is, okay, the poll book. 100,000 voters showed up. There should be 100,000 votes. Okay? We now know there was 167,000 votes.
Yes.
So by what she's saying is there were only 67,000 voters. There's 100,000 fraudulent votes.
Which earlier she had testified to there being 30,000.
30,000 fraudulent votes, which she'll explain how she saw that. Go.
Why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
What?
So, my question then.
Wait, pause.
Zero.
How can there be zero registered voters?
So nobody was registered.
Then there would be no votes. There's you get what I'm saying?
Zero. Okay.
Look, listen. I'm going to say this here. This, folks, I'm getting the people that like the work I do, like I do with Whitmer, but you don't like what I did at Cobo. I'm the only nonpartisan observer. These are all Republican observers.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people that were there that testified before and after her, I found to be legitimate. And I can explain, I think, what they saw. But they'd never been to an election. We'll go back to her, but the point is, I actually touched it. I walked around. I talked to everyone. I was allowed to talk to the poll workers, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know about Dominion software. I don't know about Philadelphia. I don't know any of that. I was the guy that was there for you to watch it like a hawk, to touch it, to understand each and every nuance. I'm not making shit up.
To that point, there was one guy you were telling me who testified that he saw a worker go and grab a bunch of blank ballots.
Yes.
Do you want to explain that one? Because the implication was they grabbed a bunch of blank ballots to fill them out and then run them through.
Legitimate guy. I found him to be legitimate guy.
He believed what he saw, and I think what he saw was true.
Blank ballots. He said.
But the purpose of it.
He said the poll workers, he used the word steal, were up there stealing them. Right? Stealing. And we take them back to the table and fill them out. You didn't testify to see anybody filling them out, but we stole them. I went and got some blank ballots. You know what the blank ballots are for? When you mail yours in, if you spill coffee on it or you tore it by accident, we have to refill out your ballot onto a new ballot with 3 witnesses and a supervisor, and we have to sign our names. Okay? So your vote can be counted. So you go up to get these and you put them they sat right next to me. Right next to me. Now, could that process be improved?
Sure.
Should a supervisor pass them out? Should you raise your hand and say we need one? Yes. Were they afraid it would slow down the process?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the end, when one of the legislatures asked him, how many times did you see that? He said about 2-3 dozen times. That's 24 or 36 votes. Yeah. It should be fixed. He's correct. We didn't steal them. And when I said I saw no appreciable fraud, I will not vouch for everybody that went and got a blank ballot. I'm just saying. Okay, but go ahead.
Guess how many? Wait, what about the turnout rate? 120%.
Let's let Representative Johnson ask
of zero.
Question,
so the poll book number. There's 2 things that could happen here. Either the poll book number, if ballots were counted multiple times, there's 2 options. Option number 1 is that the poll book numbers are not going to match.
The total voter numbers won't match the votes.
Not by thousands and thousands of votes. That's not what we see right now.
Take a look again. Take a look again.
Option number 2 is that they essentially were filling in names of people who didn't vote.
Dead people too?
So is that?
Let's
I guess,
let
is that
Representative Johnson ask his question, and then when
I
he's
thought that
done,
was his answer. Okay.
Well, I guess that's my question here is why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes. That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes. So
I know what I
saying
saw.
That they're filling in.
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Okay. Did you?
Okay,
I'm just trying to ask you a legitimate question here.
Rudy's telling her to calm down.
Jeez. Now there is another clip of her which I think you can explain as to what her complaint is with this one, and this is about running ballots over and over back through the machine.
Okay.
If this were to happen, it would show up in the tabulations being off, and we know.
They were.
Do we know to what extent that they're off?
They were off.
Right. Yeah, we know that.
So why are you asking? What are you asking me?
I'm trying to ask you if
Sir,
someone were to
go ahead.
If someone were to go and run the same ballot over and over and over again, that would that would end up showing up as a massive discrepancy, right?
Did
And we've added up the
somebody took a
discrepancies.
ballot and ran it over and over and over again? Just one ballot? Or a batch of 50?
Either way. I mean, the batch of 50 is going to be even more.
If you take one and you run it over and over and over again, yeah, people are going to notice that one has been ran over and over. I had numerous challengers come up to me and say, what's going on here? One guy got thrown out because he took a picture of me.
Sure. I'm just wondering why the numbers at the end of the day aren't matching up with the stories that we're hearing. I'm trying to square that circle. And I know there's going to be an investigation of all of these allegations.
As good as everybody else is in here.
Yeah, there's going to be an investigation of all of this,
it
and
matching
we're going to
up?
look into all
It's
these
not
details.
matching up. Everything that happened at that TCF center was fraud. Every single thing. Every avenue was taken to commit it.
Please. Appreciate your passion
So why would a ballot be run over and over and over again?
Well, again, there were others who I deemed to be credible giving testimony who said they saw it. So here would be a thing. You run the ballot through and it gets stuck, right? Mm-hmm. You started over. You took all the ballots and you ran them through again. Okay, so they're getting counted twice. She said it happened 10 times on a batch of 50.
Yeah.
Okay. She said she saw it 30,000 times. That means in the end, you would have 130,000 voters and 160,000 votes. Okay. So what do we know? Remember Bill Hartman, the Wayne County canvasser, who the Republican who didn't want to certify, then he voted certified, then
He's
he
having a
wanted to take
much
it back?
better week this week. Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to him at length.
Nice guy.
Nice guy, honest guy, and wants shit fixed. He said this. I said, Bill, which of the precincts were most out of whack? Did you see any that were 2,000, 10,000? He said, no, we had one that was 600. I said, oh, that could very well be the one where they were refeeding it incorrectly.
Okay.
Right? One dummy on one of the machines, not trained properly, did it. I said, what'd you do, Bill? He goes, we took the ballots and we tabulated them again. Right?
As they're supposed to.
That's what the canvassers do.
Yeah.
They double check. It came back more or less within one or two, 600 less. It lined up.
So it's off, but that's human error.
I said, do you remember any others that large? He said, no. So
that part of the system seems to work, the canvassing.
Yes. 30,000. No, it's no. You might think you saw that. I don't know, Red. Like you said, I don't know what's up with you.
I know when I go vote, I have me a drink because that's a tradition. Maybe she practices the same tradition when she canvasses or oversights the election. I'm sorry. She sounds like she's on a constant bender to me.
So you had a conversation, a back and forth with her.
Yeah. On November 14th, she reached out to me out of the blue. I assume it's her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why would anybody
What's her
be?
demeanor like, Charlie? I mean, clearly her demeanor there is one of slight intoxication.
Guys, stop it.
There?
Yeah, just stop it, guys. Stop that. I don't want to go there. She got a voice that sounds like clattering cutlery, right? Her shit doesn't make any sense. I don't care if she's drinking. I don't know if she's drinking.
Yeah, Charlie, but I'm saying that if in fact a person is not coherent, then that to me compromises their argument.
Well, that may be true. It wasn't coherent as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that was my point for asking her demeanor and her response to you. Did her demeanor with her engagement with you appear to be more or equally as coherent as her presentation?
As I was saying, Karen, this is a Twitter back and forth on messages.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But you take from what you want. So she wrote this to me, November 14th, about 3 weeks ago. Because I'm up on this program going, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, 10 days after the election, yeah.
And she's saying food trucks pulled up. Now in her testimony, she didn't see any ballots coming off a food truck, so why we talk about a food truck? Here, ready?
Yes.
Her to me. You're a piece of shit.
Oh.
No BS news, more like full of shit news. I saw the vans pull up on the day shift and one on the night shift. Did you not hear the announcement? We ran out of food. We will get it here as soon as possible. 2 hours later, a van pulls up that would never be able to hold enough food for 2/3 of the workers. If it did, where was the food? I'll tell you one thing. I had more than enough of my 24-hour shift, though. That's coffee and enough challengers coming up to me asking, why are these counters running these ballots through the tabulators 4 or 5 times? In fact, one got kicked out on night shift for questioning me so much, then getting so aggravated with my manager in the city for allowing this to occur that I walked away from him, and he took numerous photos of me. I was told that he had taken pictures of me, went to the police in the front where the media was, and they escorted him out. You are a complete joke. Do not call me out on your BS news channel when you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You were opening mail ballots at a table. You were not watching the tabulators or even close to them. So cut the BS.
Wow.
To which I wrote back, you're a nut.
How did that go over?
To which she wrote back, she sent me a video of Giuliani talking about her testimony, and he's got a Trump tan.
Yeah.
He got a flaming orange Trump tan.
Yeah, right around the face.
Yeah, it was weird. So then she writes this.
What does that prove? A video of him?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't at the TCF Center either.
I don't even know if it pulls up here. You got to see the color of this guy.
He's been having a little trouble
Look
with
at the look.
coloration of a lot of parts of his body.
Look.
Oh. You know, it's funny.
He's orange as hell. Let me see.
I got to tell you, though.
Does this show up?
A little bit. I think that's the best he's looked lately, to tell you the truth.
Look at that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, look. Yeah.
What's funny to me is he actually believes we believe his hair is black.
So Miss Carone writes back, no, you're a nut, and you are easily discredited. You have a long reputation of lying, and you really need to change your channel to full of shit news.
Whoa. Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, leave me alone. I think the world has made its judgment.
He just I don't know.
Again.
You want to say where's the evidence, but they keep saying here that, I mean, her story, aside from the food truck, was pretty consistent to what she testified to.
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
Somebody need to tell her that ponytail make her look like a My Little Pony. I don't know. Was that supposed to be?
Oh, yeah, with the swirl.
Ponytail. What the hell is that?
What's the name of the chick with the long hair, man? Reputa?
Oh, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where she's hiding the half a pint.
Well, there's that. So look, long story short here. People saw things. There are explanations for them had you gone through everything. Look, I've been kicking their ass. Janice Winfrey, the city clerk, dug in on the recount. Number of years ago, I found a dozen people 113 years or older. That's why I did it. Again, I'm doing it for you. I'm not covering for them. I don't know if the mayor had an ether cable, tapped into Cobo Hall, dragged all the way across the city hall in his office where he had a tabulating machine and he was running bogus ballots through. I suppose it's possible. Give me some evidence and I will chew his kneecaps off. Look, I'm just telling you, what did I say in the beginning? No, 138,000 ballots did not come in at 4 a.m, and nobody's saying that now. End of story, full stop, fact. Fact.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they could pull off a mass fraud even if they tried.
Remember something, man. Everything's digitized.
I don't think they're capable.
Everything's digitized. The number follows you. It's like a driver's license. You can have an expired driver's license, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when a cop pulls you over, he's putting it in the computer and it's not there. This thing is invalid. That's exactly how your vote went through the process. I know I was there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you have to be tested? Because Karen Lee made a comment about that some of the poll workers had to be tested before they could go to the TCF Center. Was testing, and I'm just asking this a random question, but did you have to be tested to be down in the TCF Center to count votes?
You had to have a COVID test.
Oh, that's what I meant, COVID test.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you did.
Okay.
And you had to be cleared, and you had to go through training. So the next day on the Wednesday, when you saw everybody trying to get in, you're not cleared to be in there. There's a process. Did you bring your COVID papers? Do you have a credential? It's not like 100 angry people get in there and be surrounding me. You understand?
Yeah. And before we totally let it go, canvassers are trained, correct?
Not for the vote. Look, both canvassers,
for what they do.
Bill Hartman and Monica Palmer, right? The Republicans had never been to one, never been to the absentee ballot count.
Okay, so they don't have training for that, but they have training for canvassing.
Canvassing,
What
yes.
about poll watchers or whatever Melissa said she did? I mean,
Melissa's not a poll watcher. She worked for Dominion.
Oh, that's right.
To make sure the tabulators, when they got stuck, would work.
Okay.
Poll watchers, I don't know.
Okay.
See, I don't know.
That's fair.
But there were plenty of Republicans, and I'll tell you another thing. Yeah, they were hostile. It's true. The Detroit City Clerks people were hostile to me, more hostile than to them. Put me, because I'm the reporter and they know it.
Yeah.
And one of the guys in charge, I had done an unflattering story about him on Fox
that.
too, and he fucking didn't like me. And he'd come up and be like, "Oh, LeDuff, he lies on Detroit. You know that, ladies? He's a lie on Detroit." And I just put my head down.
He's still carrying that grudge.
And every Republican there that knows that he approached me, I was willing to talk to you. So yes, that's true.
Okay.
Now, one more. Trump got more votes this time than he did last time in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He got a higher percentage, right?
Yes.
Biden got a lesser percentage than Hillary. So Trump picked up stuff in Wayne County. He lost in Oakland County. That's where he lost votes. Where were you all? Were you in Pontiac? Did you go to Birmingham? Why Detroit? Just Detroit.
Easy to pick on.
That's not where the votes got lost. So if you're looking for the fraud, I would have gone to Oakland County. But that's just me. See, I do the work.
Yeah.
My friends, if there was, I audit the process. There's a lot of problems. The software sucked. It did, right? Yeah.
Everything's old.
The supervisor, by the end of the night, I was running the table. We miscounted and the supervisor goes, just take 2 and put it in.
Yeah.
It's still going to be off 2 because I forgot to scan the envelope.
Yes. I remember that.
And I wanted to stop, and she didn't want me to stop. Therefore, it's going to be off, and everybody's going to be saying fraud.
We talked earlier, Charlie, and said while there would not necessarily there was very little room for deliberate and intentional fraud. I think everybody from the beginning has admitted that there are imperfections in the process that would allow for inaccuracies. Am I still correct there?
Final word on this. Monica Palmer, the chairwoman of the Board of Canvassers for Wayne County, testified at these hearings that when it was all said and done, the total vote imbalance, whether there was too many votes or too many voters, all totaled, it was off by 400 votes.
Wow.
400. That's the Republican. I agree with her. I agree with people. We got to perfect this because this is the way we're doing it now. And I'm the one, you're the one, this program read, we found dead voters. It was true. We don't give them a break. We held Benson's feet to the fire. Why are there 500,000 people not eligible on the rolls? Why did the woman that lived in my home 23 years ago keep getting solicitation in my house? You guys remember.
Yeah.
We are for you. That's what I saw. And I'm not, the only one whacked out one was, Mellissa here in terms of credibility, in my estimation.
Yeah.
The other people, I get it. And we could sit down and discuss it. And they're right. It should be fixed. And conservative people, if you want this shit to be real, for real voter ID, then we need a national ID card. Are you willing to do a national ID card? Do you want not illegal labor, undocumented immigrants working here? Then we should put biometrics in the card. Do you want to give biometrics to the federal government?
No.
These are the solutions. So we have to ask ourselves, is this good enough? How far you want to go with it?
It's a great question.
I think we're headed that way, actually, with this vaccine, to be honest. But that's another topic.
I'm not taking no vaccine. I'm going to do it like the video games. I'm going to wait on everybody else's video game to blow up. And then I'm going to go get my vaccine because I know it'll be safe.
All right. That's great, Red. So let's see. Red says today, I ain't getting no vaccine, and hey, kids, sell dope.
No, that was adults, damn it. I didn't tell no kids to do that.
Yeah, not kids, just adults.
Well, by the way, I think
selling they pills any damn way. They ain't telling them nothing they ain't doing.
Like what kind, Red? I'm just asking out of curiosity.
I mean, I don't care. I don't buy them. I smoke weed. I'm
asking for a friend.
For all those who can't see Red, he's reporting live from his apartment. which is a
Which
Chevy
has a steering
Cabriolet, I
wheel,
believe.
It's called the mobile home, Charlie.
You know, Red used to live in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the cops made him move his car. Yeah.
Oh man! Oh, look at him! Oh.
I'm about to move up to Richmond. While you're talking, I'm going to move in Bloomfield Hill.
While you're talking,
it's a nice empty house with a long driveway. Looks pretty nice.
Okay, look. Before we get out of here, I want to give you the No Bullshit News Hours Person of the Year. Before we do, I want to let you know this is brought to you by ADR Consultants. Right? If you're a construction outfit, you're not sure what's going on, what the protocols are, ADR, right? How do you navigate the bureaucracy? How do you navigate thin receipts?
Have them do it.
You have ADR. How do you grow your company? How do you keep the government out of your pockets?
Have them do it.
You call ADR. Consultants and experts in procurement, government compliance, information technology, and property management. Yes, Habitat for Humanity is a client.
Wow.
Right? Hamtramck's a client. You can be a client too. No job's too big, no job's too small. Get it done right, on time, on budget. Barry Ellentuck over at ADR Consultants, 248-318-9424. And don't forget Prop N's going through. So all you demolition companies, if you want somebody who knows the lay of the land, ADR for your company, municipality, or law enforcement agency. Now, this was in the news. Time Magazine is asking you, ladies and gentlemen, to vote for Person of the Year. That's the person or groups of people who had the greatest influence on the events of the year, for better or worse. Should it be Donald J. Trump? He was everywhere, on trial for high crimes and misdemeanors, tucked away at Walter Reed, battling COVID, in the White House bunker, calling the American election a fraud. Remember, you might love him, but you don't have to be likable to be Time's Person of the Year. For instance, past winners are Adolf Hitler, the Ayatollah Khomeini, Joseph Stalin, and Richard Nixon won the award twice.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I did not know they won it twice.
I was not gonna put that in.
No.
But I was like, hey, man.
Fun little piece of trivia.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Other nominees this year include...
You gotta be accurate, Charles.
Other nominees include, in this year's list, Dr. Anthony Fauci, Kamala Harris, Cardi B, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Governors Gretchen Whitmer and Andrew Cuomo. But all of these choices miss the mark. They don't capture the time, and frankly, their contributions are less than remarkable. To me, and we at the No Bullshit News Hour, the people of the year are you, the essential workers, those who did the job and continue to do so with great exposure to yourselves and your families. I vote for people like Taylor, the emergency room nurse who worked 24-hour shifts at the height of the pandemic as the sick flooded in and the bodies stacked up and the personal protection equipment ran dry. She continued to work. She never complained, though sometimes she wept. I vote for Dave, the garbage man, who in those initial frightening months had no equipment to protect himself except for a thin pair of plastic restaurant gloves that were torn and tattered. Dave has kids, but Dave kept coming. Never mind COVID. Without guys like Dave, we drown in a sea of pestilence and disease. I vote for the deputies and the doctors at places like the Wayne County Jail, where disease ran wild and officers were forced into double shifts. The disease killed the commander of the maximum security, the jail's 2 chief doctors, a ranking corporal, and now, as you heard, Sheriff Benny Napoleon has been placed on a ventilator. I wish him well. We all here do. He is a person of the year. I vote for people like Amanda, the dental hygienist, who took it upon herself and from her own pocket to hunt down personal protection equipment for people like Taylor and Dave and the deputies. Why? Because that's what unseen heroes do. There's Mike the beat cop, Tony the paramedic, Gail who provides food and blankets to the homeless, Rita the nursing home attendant who comforts the dying, Gabby the ICU doctor who battles to stop it, Father Paul who attends to their spirits, Mick the corpse collector who takes them away. There's Dolores the election night worker who made democracy go in the midst of a pandemic, the clerk at the pet food store who could have taken the fat unemployment check but decided to work. Brian, the nursing home porter, who was let go a week before a raise in benefits would kick in. This was his reward for being a working class hero through the pandemic's first 3 months. There's the school teachers, the sewer workers. I don't know if the editors can see you from their New York office towers dressed in their brown loafers. But I can see you. We can see you. The real people, the working people, the people of 2020. I give it to you. And I mean it.
Amen. No.
So many stories.
I'm with you.
Yes, totally agree.
We are not lost because of you.
They did a hell of a lot more than those other people you named.
I think so.
Without a doubt.
Somebody had to do it, man. You know, really.
Everything would have stopped. Cold stop.
So thank you.
Yes.
Stay together. Any thoughts on that, Karen, before we go?
And just, Charlie, I agree. I mean, we need to stop upholding people who pretend to do something and be something that they aren't, and look at the people closest to us that are making and bearing the most sacrifice and ultimately making the biggest difference. The people that we should be upholding and supporting are those closest to us, doing the quote unquote dirty work, and carrying the burdens that others back away from. So I totally agree.
Red?
Hey, I totally agree. Without these people that's been out here putting their lives online and risking their families in the process, they are the ones that's truly the heroes, because they done kept going through the fire and they ain't stopped. So I totally agree.
Mark?
I second and third all of it, man. I mean, what's the big story of the year? It's COVID. And they kept working. I mean, imagine how everything would have just stopped completely. No truck drivers, no grocery store workers.
And the stories that, again,
there's a lot of people that can work from home, but there's a lot of people that can't and do it without bitching.
And there's a lot of stories to be told. We didn't get to hear a lot of them, which doesn't mean they weren't there. Remember One Lung Fortuck?
Yeah.
Wandering around, spreading COVID. He's on the lam. It was 2 deputies that went to the woman's house that was afraid of him, picked him up, and put him in a car with him.
They never complain, but how often do you hear people complain about the fact that they have to work on Zoom every day from their home?
That's a bitch, though.
Oh, I'm not saying it isn't a bitch.
People are saying postal workers,
yes,
moms and dads that are at home now trying to help educate their kids and navigate technology that they may not be familiar with.
Tell me about
so
that.
just in spite of the people that were mentioned, is not overlooking those who were not mentioned that should be included in that group.
Oh, not at all. Come on, you guys are right. Before we go, anybody else out there want to, on social media through Karen, want to tell us who else?
Yeah, they're saying postal workers,
sure.
and we've said police officers. I mean, anybody.
Firefighters, EMTs, people at grocery stores, people that are at your corner stores where a lot of people have to do their shopping, people that are Uber drivers, that are doing DoorDash, that are delivering food for people so they don't have to come out. This list is very long, and we certainly don't overlook anybody who is doing what has to be done. We certainly appreciate that, recognize them, support them, and embrace them as our person of the year. So, and there we go. Look, all walks of life, all political persuasions, all races. When you look at it that way, we got more in common than not. Remember how we started the program. I'm not a divisive person, right? Mm-hmm. But there's something going wrong with the swells and the regular people. This isn't working, and it's like we don't have a voice. We get one stinking vote that gets challenged, and it continues on. Now, having said that, try to love one another, and I love this tune, Jay Giles. This is for
Mellissa.
Mellissa, it's for you, babe. Rapunzel.
Well, hold on. This song has a little introduction to it. It ain't supposed to be sad, though you might feel it that way. It's a song about desperation. Every now and then we do get desperate. This is a song about L-O-V-E, and if you abuse it, you're gonna lose it, and if you lose it, you're gonna abuse it, and if you abuse it, you ain't gonna be able to choose it, because you ain't gonna have it further on down the line. Things ain't gonna be so fine. You're gonna be sitting there on your little machine, trying to look and keep it clean. You're gonna be playing bingo all night all alone. That's why you're sitting there by the telephone, and you know that she ain't going to call you. So you put on the TV and you're watching Johnny Carson segueing right into the Tomorrow Show, but that don't got to go, so you turn it off, you turn on the radio don't seem to get the click, so you say, hey man, I can't look at the split. You start to open up a little book and there's something there you got to overlook, and you say, baby, you know there's something on my mind. You say, baby, there's something on my mind. I know that you're home, and I know you ain't all alone. So you start walking over to a house. You get over to a house, you walk over to a door. You start pounding on the door. You say, open up the door, bitch. This is Woofa Goofa with the green teeth. Let me in. Well, she opens up the door, and then you just kind of walk up to her and say, baby. You look up way up at her green mascara, and you say, oh, my darling. You know, her and me was at the party as friends. Do not believe what they say. That's only gossip that they're telling you down the wisecracker line. You say, darling. Take your big curls and just squeeze them down, Rotumba. What's the name of that chick with the long hair?
Rapunzel.
That's right. Hey, Rapunzel.
Mellissa.
Hey, Reputa. Reputa the beauty. Hey, Reputa the beauty. Clip me down your hair and let me climb up to the light of your love. Because this is Woofa Goofa saying to you. Love comes once, and when it comes, you better grab it fast. Because sometimes the love you grab ain't gonna last, and I believe I must have. You know, I think I must have. You know, baby, I think I must have. You know, I think I must have. I must have got lost. Never thought about tomorrow. Seemed like a long time to come. How can I be so blind, baby, not to see you on the one? I let you slip on from me, baby. I let you walk on by. To the love you had for me, I refuse to love, I let it die. Must have got lost. Must have got lost. Must have got lost somewhere down the line. Must have got lost. Must have got lost. Give away the days you were mine. Don't know why I let you leave me. Honey, I don't know. Say it's hard to see loving coming, baby. Honey, I've always seen it go. Must have got lost. Must have got lost. Must have got lost somewhere down the line. Must have got lost. Yeah, got lost. Give away the days you were mine. Love can be a sweet thing. Girl, I just don't understand. Made a game out of loving you. Now hold losing hand. Oh, must have got lost. Must have got lost. Must have got lost somewhere down the line. Must have got lost. Yeah, you got lost, girl. Give away the days you were mine.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And I must have got lost. Must have got lost. Must have got lost somewhere down the line.
If I'm wrong, I can go to prison.
Lost, baby. I got lost, girl. Give away the days you were mine. Must have got lost. I got lost. Must have got lost somewhere down the line. Must have got lost. Oh, I got lost, girl. Give away the days you were mine.
I'll break it off in your ass.
That's some bullshit.
It's a lot of bullshit going on down here.
I said your love got me higher than I ever been lifted before. I said your love got me higher
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?